What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today it's another Tuesday morning, super exciting news. Basically, over the next 3 weeks, one video per week, you guys know that I post every week on Tuesday, I'm going to be posting a 3-part series. It might become more than 3, but so far we're starting with 3, of helping you guys bring your magic from bottom level to the next level. We're going to be going over all of the most important things, and I actually have it all written out so that I don't forget. But basically, in the first video, which is going to be this week's video, we are going to be going over presentation and crowd handling. Now, presentation, we're going to be going over everything from how you look in different scenarios, what you might want to choose for your attire, as well as how your tricks look, which ones you might want to do depending on where you're doing it at. And the second thing is crowd handling. Now, I know, guys, I know that you've all faced it before, whether it's that one little table full of 10 kids, which I literally got the other day in Culver's. It was a bunch of kids. It's very hard. Or whether you get that one person that they know it all. I know how that trick is done. Yeah, oh, I know how it's done. Or whether you get that one guy that's just constantly booing your tricks and saying that it's lame, or saying that it doesn't look cool, or I see what's happening. Whatever it may be, heckling or dealing with those people is not easy, and it takes time to learn how to manage your crowd. So I'm going to be explaining how I've learned to do it and how you guys can too. And that's the first video. We have a ton more planned in the next 2 videos, so make sure that you guys stay tuned. But yeah, so that's what's going to be happening. I really hope you guys like the idea, and let me know if you want it to become more than just a 3-part series. But without any further ado, let's get straight into the first one, which is presentation. Now, obviously, guys, you probably don't want to be going up to people looking like this, but it is an important question, which is, what are you going to do for presentation? Now, there's a lot of things that have to do with presentation, whether it's what attire do you wear, are you going for casual, are you going for fancy, are you going for distinguished, and the hats dropped. Okay, just give me a second. But nonetheless, as I was saying before I got interrupted, presentation is a big thing in Magic, because ultimately, just like how when you're first meeting someone, which a lot of times when you're doing magic tricks for people, you are meeting them for the first time, but ultimately, the first look is the most important. How you look, how your tricks look, if they come in and you're already doing a show, are people enjoying it? It's really important that you decide how you look. Now, when I first started doing magic, I mainly just did it for my family. I used to get dressed up in a suit jacket and tie, and I would wear a top hat and stuff. And ultimately, now that I've been doing magic at Culver's every week on Mondays, and I actually do tables, and I go around and get tips sometimes and do it as a job, you could say, I've had to figure out what is the attire that I'm going to wear and what tricks am I going to use. So ultimately, basically, when I first started, I had a specific magic shirt. You can see kind of like this one where it says pick a card, any card. I had a specific shirt or 2 that were magic themed, and I had to wear them every week. But ultimately, because I wear an apron when I do it, because it has pockets so I can hold all my stuff, I realized the shirt doesn't matter as much for me because it's just going to get covered by the apron. But what matters is that ultimately, I think it depends on the place that you're at, because I'm just at a restaurant. It's okay if I'm in casual. They aren't expecting me to wear a tux or anything of that sort. But if you're doing, I don't know, a bar, or you're doing some place where it's more distinguished people, they're generally out having a good time. They're doing I don't know, whatever nice things that they do. But if they're dressing, ultimately, if your audience is dressing nicer, you kind of want to match how they're dressing, just so that they're comfortable. The presentation of your tricks, are you just, okay, pick a card, there's a card, and boom, I made your card on top, right? That's boring. But if you say, okay, go ahead and pick a card, maybe throw in a joke or 2. Again, we'll get into some of that a little bit later, but just how are you presenting it? Are you presenting it in a way that makes people enjoy it?
Yeah, dude, it's obvious that it's on top.
Shani, I can't see the cards.
I see. Oh my gosh, can I just card? Can I handle those? Please.
Have you ever handled people like this? Maybe they're so young that they just want to touch everything, and they just can't really stop talking long enough for you to get through your part? Or do you have the opposite where they're so old that they can't see the cards and they really just don't understand what's going on? Or do you have that one person that constantly is booing and jeering? Or do you have that one annoying guy that's constantly saying that he knows how the trick is done? See, we've all had to deal with these people, or if you haven't, you probably will. And that goes all along with crowd handling. How do you handle crowds? And you know, the nice thing about this is that when the reason I'm teaching this isn't just for those specific people, but it's also because crowd handling is just something that takes time to learn in general, just how to handle your crowd, how to engage them. Again, some of those things we'll get into a little bit later, but crowd handling is important. So here's what you can start with. Where are you doing it at? So that's the biggest thing to start with, is where are you doing it at? Who are you going to have? What tricks would they like? But ultimately, you also want to think of you have to prepare yourself for when you get certain types of people. So, for example, I was doing it yesterday, actually, because today's Tuesday, it was Monday night, and I had a table full of kids, okay, full, and anywhere from ages 10 and down, they were ranging. There was about 10 kids, and when I first started, I immediately knew and noticed, knew that it would happen. I had some kids reaching for the cards, and I had a lot of kids talking and yelling because, I mean, they're excited, but it does make it somewhat hard to do a trick because you can't talk. You're trying to, like, get a few words in to keep going, and they're kind of just yelling and screaming because they're kids. But what I was able to do, which is something that I've practiced and thought of beforehand, at least for one thing, when the kid was trying to grab the cards, I just gently put my hand over the cards so that he couldn't get to them and said, "Hold on, not yet, I'll let you see them later." Okay? Now that's a good thing because ultimately, whether or not you're actually going to, because maybe you can't let them see it because it's gimmicked in any way or something, they don't know that. They'll probably forget because they're so excited, but that's a good way to handle that. And as for them all yelling, you just have to wait sometimes, okay? You have to be patient. Kids are going to be kids. They are excited, but if you say, "Now hold on, next," a lot of times, you're not only amping up their excitement for the trick, but you're getting them to suppress the excitement that's coming out. And ultimately, a lot of times they do realize that. They'll quiet down after just a little bit because they want to see the trick. But if you have a lot of trouble with it, it's okay to say, "Now hold on, guys, quiet down for just a second. We're going to go into the next part of the trick." So that's the first type of kids that you're going to have. But what if you get someone that is constantly saying, "Oh, I think I know this done," or "I see the card on top," or whatever. Even if you're not flashing, they're simply just throwing guesses, whether they're right or wrong. They're throwing them left and right. You can end the trick or finish the trick and then leave, not do any more of your show or whatever. Or you could just put up with it. Try and stop it. If you gauge that you're not actually going to get the tricks done, or that they don't really care about the tricks, they're just being kind of smart Alex in a way, then you can do that. You are the magician, you're doing the tricks, you can choose when to stop. But if it's the other way around, in that they are kind of making jokes, but they are just trying to enjoy it, they're not trying to, you can always just be patient again, wait for them to stop. Or you can also say, I appreciate your guesses, but feel free to give them when we're done. That way you don't stop the trick. Or you could just say, "Please, could you quiet it down just a little bit? We're trying to finish the trick." And the last one is, what if you get a straight person that's just 100% being rude? They're making fun of you, or they're yelling over you, or they're saying it's lame or whatever. My biggest thing is I always try and be very respectful. You don't want them, you don't want to put your hands on them. You don't want to be yelling back at them. I think the biggest thing is you want to start probably by just asking them, "Could you please stop? We're all trying to have some nice magic here. I don't appreciate you yelling," or whatever. But if it doesn't work, of course, you could get local authorities or whatever, depending on how bad it's getting. But ultimately, you can also just say thank you for your time and then go to the next table. So it's all about being respectful, but also helping everyone to enjoy the time there and not making it worse for you or for them. Alright, you guys, so this was part 1 of Magic from A to Z. It's a new series that I've created, as I mentioned above. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you all. Thank you so much for the support, and I will see you guys in the next video.